Oh, hello. Guys, it's me, Kristen. You might know me from the internet. You might know me from real life. We might be related, but hopefully not. And you might know me from my dog just sighed. It was really poorly timed on his end. You might also know me from the hit, totally, Friday live stream, 2 girls, 1 bed, aka how to improve your lesbian sex game from a fitness perspective. As always, I want to say that the big purpose of this not only is ending lesbian bed death, but also just kind of fighting against a lot of very unfortunate tropes that plague our community. Number one being that we're not fit, right? That's ridiculous. We can get fit. In fact, announcement time, speaking of segues, tomorrow at the Phoenix Effect, so if you're in the LA area, come on by at 2. We are having the first, I was going to say annual, but it's going to be like monthly, first ever lesbian lift club led by me and my lovely wife, Beth Bishop, at 2 p.m. I think we are running out of spots, but if you're interested, go ahead and DM me or email me, and my email address listed in my profile, and we can chat, and perhaps you can come lift with us. Tomorrow is a pull day, so that's going to be a lot of booty, back, and biceps, or the 3Bs, as I like to call them. So anyway, lesbian death is terrible. Death is fine. I mean, there's some pretty cool deaths out there, like the little death, which we'll be getting to shortly, and then death metal. Those are like top 2, I think. Lesbian bed death is the worst one. So we're gonna do a little bit of Q&A at the end. Feel free to comment, ask questions as we go. I'll try not to get distracted, and we'll still try to talk to you about these things. Also, thank you so much everyone who voted, including the dudes, whose votes I did not count, and whose DMs I don't read, on whether or not you wanted today to be at home or in the gym. Clearly we're at home, which brings me to my next little announcement that a week from tomorrow, on the 30th at 2:30 in the afternoon, also at the Phoenix Effect, the gym owned and run by my lovely wife, Beth Bishop, and me, I'll be doing a workshop on this whole thing, IRL. It is interactive. It is a little circuit that, not little, it's a significant circuit we're going to put you through, and these are things you can do in the gym to be a better top, and we might even live stream it. We probably will. We definitely will. But if you can make it, go ahead, also DM me or email me. It's best if you can join in, because then you get to get that tactile feedback and know what you're doing way better than just visually. Cool. So today we're going to talk about being at the top of your top game when it comes to strap-on sex, right? So last week, and you can refer back to the video I posted on my YouTube channel, which is on my profile as well, we talked about how to warm up for this, right? And that includes flexibility, mobility, as well as kind of going through ranges of motion that mimic the movement patterns of topping with a strap-on, which, as we now know, is an explosive hip hinge, technically speaking. And we also talked about the cool down. So those warm-ups and cool downs also apply to the circuit I'm going to be showing you in a few minutes. So I do want to review the various types of positions that you can take, and then we're going to map those back to the exercises you're going to do in the circuit, right? So we have, I guess, the strap-on equivalent or lesbian equivalent of the missionary. Oh, by the way, this shirt is for movement number 3, but they didn't have cowgirl, they just had cowboy, but you get it. So missionary means probably your partner is under you and you're like this. Yeah, so that's one of them. Another one is standing. So kind of leaning back and then forward. Yep. And then my favorite, as I've mentioned, is on your back. There are a couple iterations of this. So on your back means maybe your partner is doing like a cowgirl or reverse cowgirl, which is really fun and really culturally appropriate, I think. Which means you're like this, or my favorite, in a butterfly position. So we're gonna get to how to strengthen your butterfly game, because it actually is a big function of your inner thigh power, and we all need that. Life's too short not to have that. Cool. So, and I made a lot of notes. Also, I am drinking coffee out of a Ninja Turtle mug because it's kind of adult, but also kind of not. I dropped in something called a coffee bomb. They're ridiculously overpriced, but delicious. They're not paying me. Oh, so good at all for any kind of product placement. But if you do have a product and you want me to place it, or you want me to actively avoid talking about it, I'll send you my Venmo. Cool. All right. So this is the circuit that you're going to do pretty much every other day for 2 weeks and 2 weeks only, because the body stops adapting and can start getting injured, kind of like on the real world where people stop being polite and start getting real. It's same thing with your joints, right? You can't keep doing the same fucking workout all the time. That's how we get injured. Worst case scenario, best case scenario would be plateau, right? But also you're probably gonna get injured. Anyway, 2 weeks every other day. You're gonna go through this circuit 4 times for quality. What do I mean by that? Well, when you lift, when you exercise and you're going for strength, you need to be really mindful, right? A lot of times we get into task completion. That's actually one of my huge issues with CrossFit, and I am very versed in that. Used to compete, got mega injured, as you all do, in that sport. But it's not about task completion, right? It's about getting it right to the extent that we can, being as perfect as we can and pristine as we can in our movement. That way we get the results, we get stronger, and of course we don't get injured. Every year we're on this earth, it is harder to keep, let alone add lean muscle. Don't make it harder by benching yourself. And by that, I don't mean like the fun and flirty like chest press situation. I mean like, do not hurt yourself. So again, for quality. And yes, hello, good morning. So the first thing we're gonna do is a ground to overhead with a walkout into a plank. Once we're in the plank, we're gonna perform 5 and 5 alternating shoulder taps. So the idea of this is we're elongating the back of the body, which includes the back of the pelvis. So we need that to be nice and long so the rest of the muscles fire, including the core and including the shoulders. This is especially handy for that first position that I was telling you about. We're gonna do this 5 times. Cool, so this is exercise number 1. It's kind of like a little bit of a complex. So you're gonna be standing up, you're gonna get really tall, I'll back up. You're gonna crawl out into a plank, yeah, and I'll back up a little bit. Once you're in the plank, without moving your body, you're gonna tap each shoulder 5 times in an alternating fashion and then crawl all the way back. So I'm gonna show you from the front. You're gonna see that I'm not moving at all in the lateral plane. A lot of times when we tap our shoulder, we kind of do this. You wanna make sure that you're actually using the sides of the body, specifically the internal obliques, to prevent that rotation. If that is impossible for you, chances are you are a little bit too tight in the lateral hip region, and that is something that you want to work out in the way of mobility, flexibility. Hi, Hadaway. Okay, so that is movement number 1. You're gonna do that combination 5 times. So getting really tall, bending over, entire spine turning to jelly, crawling out into a plank, and then you got your alternating shoulder taps, 5 and 5, without moving the body. That is the key, right? So the second one is a negative sumo body weight good morning in a prisoner position. That sounds like a mouthful, but it isn't, because you actually don't need your mouth for it. So sumo means we're standing wider than our shoulders, right? We're gonna dig our feet into the ground. Prisoner means we have our hands like this. Negative means we're gonna come down really, really slow, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then snap back up. Do you see how this ladders back to the game day game? So topping with a strap on. I'll show you from the side. So we're getting really tall, hands here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right back up. You're gonna notice with some people, we have the propensity to kind of arch around your back. You want to pretend like you have an airbag around here and it's keeping you really thick and really firm. Last time, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up for a count of 1. So you're gonna do that 8 times. It is critical that you count out loud down from 5. We do this funny thing where we overestimate how long a negative or eccentric portion of a lift is, and that becomes like a normal tempo, and that is ridiculous. So those are exercises 2 and 3 of this 4 round for quality circuit. The last one is getting into that butterfly mode, right? So strengthening the inner thighs. On most humans, the inner thigh, the muscles that constitute the inner thigh are extremely tight. And when we have muscles that are too tight, they're not working. And for better or worse, muscles work in a system, right? That's why machines are ridiculously stupid to use, pretty much, technically speaking. And so if you have a muscle that's not working in a group, the group is not going to be able to achieve the goal, right? So if I want to, for instance, bench, because we were talking about bench earlier, so perform a chest press, and I'm so tight that my pecs aren't working, guess what? Some other part of the body is going to be responsible for that movement. It's not going to be strong. I'm not going to get results unless one of your results that you want is to get injured. So we're going to be super mindful. We're going to get into the butterfly position. So what that means is we have our heels actively pressed together. The more you press your heels together, the more this works to the abdomen and inner thigh, and the less it goes to the hips, right? A lot of times things kind of just go to the hips, sweet movements, and that needs to end. So the last one, you're gonna do a combination. So we've covered glute bridges. We're gonna cover that again. You're gonna lie down here. You're gonna bridge your hips up. 3, 2, 1, and tap your butt back down. 3, 2, 1, tap your butt back down. You wanna feel like these are really, really opening as you do that. Holding that 3 count at the top, again, counting it loud and making sure will cause your body to integrate the core into this entire movement, right? The core should never, ever, ever turn off, even doing bicep curls. That is exactly how we get hurt. Cool? So after you do 8 of those, you're gonna do 12 butterfly sit-ups. So again, we're actively pressing the heels together. We're gonna lean back and you're gonna tap the toes. I'll show you from this angle. Everyone is welcome. You're gonna lean back and tap outside the toes like that. So now we have 3 exercises. We're gonna do 4 times through for quality every other day for 2 weeks maximum. When I upload this video to YouTube, and I really hope that I remember to hit save, I'm gonna, in the description, go ahead, write out the circuit as well. So you can visit that. I do link to the YouTube channel on my profile, which you know how to navigate to clearly if you are here. Oh, and I'm just gonna reiterate that the warm up and cool down from last week is applicable to the circuit. So you still wanna get mobile, flexible, and warm before you go into this movement, and you still wanna cool down. I will address one of my favorite DMs that came out of last week, which was around the cool down and spooning. So I talked about you could be the little spoon or the big spoon, either one of those work in the cool down, or the middle spoon if you're having that kind of night. And a friend of mine said middle spooning sounds really fun, something to the extent of that. And I informed her that actually it's called baby bearing, and it is really fun. Okay, cool. So I bet that was triggering for a lot of you to hear. I'm going to go over my announcements again, and then we're gonna go through questions, comments, concerns, compliments, emojis. I'm not getting paid. Neither by the Ninja sorry, how do I? The Ninja Turtles aren't paying me, and neither are the makers of coffee bombs, which you can find at your local Gelson's. Okay, 3:30, a week from tomorrow, we have a live workshop at 2:30 Pacific. We'll probably definitely live stream it. It is at the Phoenix Effect. If you are here in LA, DM me, email me, and we'll talk about getting you in that. And then tomorrow, first ever Lesbian Lift Club. If that interests you, also hit me up and we can talk about that. I think I have like 1 or 2 more spots for tomorrow, and that is led by me and my lovely wife, Beth Bishop, at the Phoenix Effect, the group fitness studio that we talk endlessly about because we own and run it. And it is the only lesbian-owned gym in LA. I love and hate that. Okay, cool. Oh, and then last thing, before we get to what y'all are saying, I train people obviously on a one-on-one basis in addition to doing group fitness. And as of mid-April, I can take on 1 client. If you want to go ahead and train for this, that's amazing. I've already built out a program, a general program, and for you, of course, we'd customize, tailor it, etc. So really excited to possibly be doing that. Everyone could use a better sex life. Lesbian bed death is the worst death. Okay, so people join, which is amazing. Oh my God! Yes, it is gonna be your birthday, P-Tech. Happy early birthday, little Aries. Okay, what else did y'all say? I got some emojis, which I love. And I have triggered Lauren Hadaway. Okay, pretend I never talked about a middle spoon, but I did. If there's nothing else, I'm just gonna say that you guys are wonderful. I hope I remember to hit save in like less than a minute. And if I do, this will be on YouTube. And still no one's paying me for any kind of product endorsement, but if you wanted that, or if you wanted me to actively avoid talking about your products, like kind of one of the Viking business models, we can go down that path too. I am on Venmo. Anyway, hope everyone has an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend. I hope that you get to put this stuff to the test, and I'll talk to you guys next week. All right, bye.